RAHEEM Sterling, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Danny Rose have received personal letters of apology from FA chairman Greg Clarke after they were racially abused in Montenegro last week. Wembley chief Clarke decided he needed to write to the Three Lions trio to acknowledge the FA's shame that they were forced to endure the torrent of filth during the Euro 2020 qualifier. Callum Hudson-Odoi, RAHEEM Sterling and Danny Rose all suffered racial abuse in Montenegro while Clarke backed Gareth Southgate's angry response on behalf of the players and the FA's complaint to European chiefs. The FA chairman took personal responsibility for the disgraceful scenes, and Clarke has now vowed to ensure tougher punishments for racism are handed out both at home and abroad. In his keynote speech to UEFA's Equal Game Conference at Wembley, Clarke said, "When RAHEEM Sterling, Danny Rose or Callum Hudson-Odoi speak with such maturity and confidence, we must listen and respond. We must not let them down. I had a full speech prepared looking at the last 15 years and what we have done. But I've changed it. I need to reflect on the racist abuse England players received last Monday." RAHEEM Sterling addresses racism in England's Euro qualifier versus Montenegro. "I'm not pointing fingers at one country. None of us are naive enough to say it doesn't happen here. It has happened in the UK in this current season. Clubs have banned fans and we have banned a player. So we must do more in England, including here at the English FA." Clarke said UEFA's racism protocols, which asks referees stop matches if racist behavior is of a strong magnitude and intensity, were no longer good enough. When RAHEEM Sterling, Danny Rose or Callum Hudson-Odoi speak with such maturity and confidence, we must listen and respond. We must not let them down. FA Chairman Greg Clarke, he added, "There should be no judgment call on whether something is of a strong magnitude. Racism is racism. The protocol was designed for mass chanting. But receiving a torrent of vile, racist abuse from one person when you are taking a throw-in or a corner is wholly unacceptable too. This needs to stop. We have a duty to protect players. I would also like to see a review of on-field incidents. When two people are involved in an exchange, it is often the word of one person against another. But actually that's not the case anymore. Cameras record every angle. It can be a very long process, employing foreign language lip readers and experts in slang to try to understand what was said and what it meant." Callum Hudson-Odoi describes the racist abuse he, Danny Rose and RAHEEM Sterling suffered playing for England against Montenegro, "But we should go that extra mile. We owe it to our players." UEFA President Alexander Ceferin, who said he was ashamed that racism remained an issue in football in 2019, slammed people who trample on human dignity, who bring shame to football and the human race. Ceferin told Sun Sport last week that the scenes in Podgorica were a disaster, and he pledged to order referees to intervene and stop games if players are being racially abused. He said, "We will speak to the referees again, and tell them to be confident, not to be afraid to act. They know about it, but they are people, and it's hard to decide whether to act or not. It's a big step, but we will speak to them, and tell them to be brave. The moment a match is stopped, or it's not played, I think that 90% of normal people in the stadium would kick the asses of those idiots." Montenegro FA General Secretary Momir Djurdjevic stood up to declare, "I'm not saying it did not occur. Those were a handful of idiots and because of them the whole of Montenegro has been pilloried. I would like to apologize to all those who have gained very bad impression from Podgorica. Let UEFA do their work unfettered." Greg Clarke wrote letters to England's players who suffered racial abuse in Montenegro.